guys, I'm here trying out the Barbie ice cream, seeing how it tastes. Here we go. It's not bad. It's cotton candy. It's flavored. Oh!
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend.
Oh yeah, you thought I wasn't gonna show up for my girl Margot Robbie Barbie? You was wrong. Let's review this movie. So in this live-action adaptation of the character of Barbie, we follow Margot Robbie, who plays stereotypical Barbie, alongside Ryan Gosling's Ken, where they journey away from Barbie Land into the real world, finding out not everything can be pretty, pink, and wonderful all the time. And that's all pretty much it. I'll give any spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. Let's talk about this Barbie movie, man. Now, hopefully you can still take me seriously looking this dapper and handsome, but I genuinely never thought I'd be this interested in a Barbie movie. Heck, I still remember when the first idea for this movie was to have it star Amy Schumer, and it was going to be about the one ugly Barbie in Barbie Land, and I was like, okay, I guess that's something you could do. Not really sure if I care to watch that, and thankfully that didn't end up happening. Instead, we got Greta Gerwig as director, and looking at her filmography, she has done a lot of things that I've respected and ended up really liking, but don't scream Barbie to me. Then you cast Margot Robbie as Barbie, and you're like, oh, okay, that's perfect. Nobody else could have gotten that so right. Then Ryan Gosling as Ken, and you're like, okay, new personality unlocked. I am now Ken Ryan Gosling. And that trailer where you get to see the set pieces and everything they've done with the designs and the look of the world, and you're like, I'm a grown man curious about Barbie. I'm gonna own that. I'm gonna live with that. And even though I'm not the target demographic for this Barbie movie, I still walked away for the most part really enjoying this. Now, I still think there are going to be things in here for the target demographic that won't end up loving this movie at much for a couple of reasons, but let me get into the things I did really like about this movie. For one, gigantic props to director Greta Gerwig in here. Although I trusted her to give me a pretty interesting Barbie movie, because of her filmography, I never expected her to deep dive into the Barbie world as much as she did for this film. From the first 10-15 minutes of this movie, you get a real idea. Yeah, this was a kid who grew up playing with Barbies. This is a person who grew up with Barbie all around her, and she has brought it to life. The set designs, the color of it, the costumes, all really 10 out of 10 in terms of creativity, in terms of the way it was done. I could not get enough of every minute we get to spend in Barbie Land, and heck, that's another positive right there. I thought we were only going to get 10 or 15 minutes of Barbie Land. We get plenty of Barbie Land with a good mixture of the real world stuff. They don't just try to shoehorn you out of Barbie Land as quick as they can. Margot Robbie as Barbie, as expected, does a fantastic job. She not only pulls off the whole happy-go-lucky feel of a stereotypical Barbie, but when we get to those serious emotional moments where the movie tries to dig deeper into the psyche of Barbie, also does great. It's freaking Margot Robbie. But I'm not gonna lie, Ryan Gosling's Ken, every chance he got, he stole the show. In a role of a lifetime, Ryan Gosling is so underrated here as Ken. I remember the doubts when he got casted as the character, but man, the Ken energy coming off this dude is immaculate. Ryan Gosling is maybe a comedic genius in disguise, because his line delivery of some of the things he says as Ken, or even some of his physical actions, whether he's singing, dancing, or discovering the real world and finding out, oh, men kind of rule here. I ate up every second of that, and I think a lot of people will be walking away loving his version of Ken. But of course, you expect Barbie and Ken to be a standout in the movie. Some of the supporting characters, though, also really fun. Cera as Alan. He was given a scene in here where he was given some physical work, and I just could not stop laughing at the idea of Cera moving that much. The attention to detail that Greta Gerwig brought in with kind of mixing in the history of all the different Barbies in here, from President Barbie, Beach Barbie, Nurse Barbie, Dr. Barbie. And as someone who didn't necessarily grow up playing with Barbies, they were around me. I had cousins, I had little sisters. The ideas thrown in here, I think people who didn't play with Barbie are still very much going to be able to understand. Like Weird Barbie. Kate McKinnon there as this one that gets drawn all over, hair cut up. It's like, oh, I think we've seen a couple of those Barbies in our lifetime. And the approach Greta Gerwig takes in explaining how, Barbie Land exists to the real world, kind of with a Toy Story twist to it, where every Barbie in Barbie world has an owner out there that somebody is playing with. I thought they handled all that aspect of the movie in a really fun way, to where they could still make fun of of Barbie, laugh with Barbie, even take a couple of jabs at Mattel, the company who makes Barbie. I was a little shocked to see some of the jokes in here that were directly pointed at this company that must have gotten approved by Mattel. And it just adds to this movie having fun with itself, not taking itself too seriously for the most part, and just be entertained with the idea of like Barbie and Ken coming into the real world, realizing everything's not so perfect, and what happens if they take some of our real world ideologies and bring them back to Barbie land. I thought that was also a great idea. In fact, there's a lot of great ideas thrown in this movie. For one, you have like America Ferrera's character, who plays a mom with a moody teenager, and Margot Robbie's Barbie kind of helps re-spark the love between them, and it brought some surprisingly emotional elements to the movie I wasn't expecting, because at the core there's kind of like a mother-daughter story in here, a kind of generational piece. That's what happens when you get an independent director like Greta Gerwig, who's been making nothing but character pieces, focusing in on this story, fleshing out themes and narratives going on in them. You apply that now to something as simple as Barbie, I think we were gifted something way better than what the studio probably wanted in the first place. But with all that said, I do want to get into some of the things that I found mixed to negative about that maybe could have been the downside of bringing in somebody with that kind of vision into maybe something that doesn't always need to be that deeply thought about or explored. So I mentioned the movie has like a lot of things going on, and for like the first half of this movie, it handles all those aspects really well. You're having fun with Barbie, you're enjoying this world, you're liking the crossover from Barbie land into the real world, everybody's having a good time, and then the movie wants to go deeper with it. We want to explore anxiety, depression, women issues, men issues, which I really don't think that should be that big a surprise in here. I think any man going in there not expecting the Barbie movie to be, you know, very woman heavy, you're kind of crazy. Oh my God, the Barbie movie was pro-woman? How could they do that? But even with that, I think there is enough in here for men to really love and get a big kick out of, even if they're the butt of the joke at times, because it doesn't come off as mean-spirited. It comes off more playful and fun, kind of like you were as a kid, you know, boys rule, girls drool. Like, if you're really walking away offended from this movie, just take a look in the mirror a little bit, my friend. But it was more the part of all these different things that Greta Gerwig really wanted to tackle about Barbie that once they all meshed together in the third act, the movie loses steam, it loses its focus. You know, we're dealing with the whole mother-daughter issue and them separating and Barbie trying to fix that. Then you have Will Ferrell, the CEO of Mattel. That is funny at times. I enjoy Will Ferrell, but he comes in and out as the villain and disappears for chunks of the movie, then brought back in, then disappearing again. Then we have to deal with Ken and his crisis, finding out stuff in the real world, bringing that back to Barbie. Then we get like 7 to 8 big old speeches about what it means to be united, to be together, to be strong, and all of those ideas just get so jumbled up, it doesn't have like a clear focus by the end. I found a lot of those speeches at the end pretty powerful, pretty insightful, and brought up great points, but once we got to like the 8th or 9th speech, it became a little heavy-handed. It became a little overbearing. It didn't ruin the movie for me at all, but because the movie is so focused on trying to give the right message to all these different issues from, you know, mother-daughter relationships, CEOs and companies, what do we do with Ken's and Barbie land and all that it just kind of comes off anticlimactic, and you're given an ending that isn't as satisfying. Because I think a lot of people come out surprised with how like deep, impactful, and emotional the ending tries to go, and some people it'll work, some people it won't. And that was the only thing I really found jumbled about the movie, is it losing its steam in the third act. When it comes down to it, for me, I would much rather have someone like a Greta Gerwig tackle these well-known properties, because they give us something slightly deeper. They try putting in that attention, that love and care that a lot of Barbie fans out there probably appreciate. And even if you're someone like me who thought maybe it went a little too far, still way better than whatever stereotypical studio-made thing they could have come out with just so that they can sell more Barbies. This feels like it has a lot more heart, a lot more passion thrown into it, other than just become a big advertisement for Barbies. So yeah, when it comes to Barbie, I'm gonna give action 2.5 stars. While you do have one awkward, funny fight scene and a couple of car chases, it's pretty stationary and it's not meant to be that action heavy. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I found this really funny. I thought the little jokes the narrator would throw in there worked for me. Ryan Gosling's Ken had me dying a lot, but I will point out the fact that there were so many times in my theater I was the only one laughing. I was kind of embarrassed sometimes that I'd burst out chuckling, and I was the only one. So I'm curious how other audiences will react to a lot of these jokes. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Like I said, I like the approach that Greta Gerwig was trying to take with Barbie, not just giving us a happy, fun-go-lucky movie, but maybe take a deeper look into Barbie, explore some themes and ideas, and even if they get a little overbearing towards the end, I still like that they attempted that with Barbie. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give no stars to. Nothing really horrifying thrown in here. Suspense in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. While you're not necessarily worried about the outcome of certain characters, but because of the confused jumble at the end, you're just kind of confused to where the movie is taking these ideas. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it an A-. For Greta Gerwig's Barbie, I still think it's a really fun, interesting take on the Barbie character that should be enjoyed in theaters. Again, that's just my opinion on the Barbie movie, guys. Like I said, never in a million years thought I would care for a live-action Barbie movie. This was fun to watch, even if it lost its steam towards the end. I'm curious to hear your guys' opinion on it, what you like, what you didn't like about the movie, some of the more serious topics they tried to bring up. Anything and everything, be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3CFilms or on TikTok at 3CFilms. But as always, you are Knuff.